direction toward one Nigeria is, we can agree, you have your own leader. Whether anybody accept it or not, the only leader with a powerful mantle of leadership from the eastern part of Nigeria is Nnamdi Kanu. There is a difference between ruler and a leader. You may have governors, you may have senators. Those are your rulers because they are using power to force you to do what you don't like. But Nnamdi Kanu, when he tell you everybody should not go out tomorrow, you people refuse to go out, not because you are afraid of Nnamdi Kanu, but because you believe he cannot choose something that can hurt you.
Okay.
That is what we call leadership. And equally, each and every region should have this kind of people. Then we should come together. We are Nigeria. We will enjoy our strategic location in terms of business. You are Biafran, you are moving into northern Nigeria to do your business. You don't need visa because we are a Nigerian. You are northerner, you want to go to Biafra to do your business. You don't need visa because you are Nigerian. But the resources of Biafra should be controlled by Biafrans. Okay. The security architecture of Biafra should be provided by Biafrans. The resources of Oduduwa Republic should be controlled by Oduduans. The security architecture and the economic policy as well as customary law should be an indigenous system that a Yoruba man will never feel that his culture, his history is being tempered under a system that is not fair and just to him. The same thing in northern Nigeria. Northerners should have a system that is working for them. There is no problem for people of different history, people of different religion, people of different background to be under the one system. But the difference is, can we accept our differences and live in peace and harmony? Can respect of one another be part of our differences? Wherever you see chaos, wherever you see conflicts, wherever you see crisis, it was initiated by injustice. If the Biafran people, they feel equally treated like other people from the other region, there should be no question of secession. Okay. So Nigeria should have a single army. This our army should be Nigerian army. But the policing, there should be nothing like a Nigerian police. There should be nothing like a Nigerian custom. We should have Biafra regional custom, the northern regional custom, because if a northerners, they don't want to beer and alcohol in their region, they forbid it. It was not a it's not an exhibit if you go to Biafra land. So therefore, Biafran custom have the right to clear it to their own land. But if you bring somebody from Kanu to clear what will enter Biafra land, whatever he see that the tamper his culture will touch his brain, will change his psychological thinking, it will now cause confusion.
Okay, thank you.
Those who I'm coming. Yeah. Those who created this system, they don't mean well for the North. They don't mean well for Nigeria. They don't mean well for Biafran, and they don't mean well for this thing. For them, Nigeria is just like a company for them. And choosing a general manager called president to put him there, and he has no power to implement any policy. If you allow me to be a president of Nigeria today, and Nigerians choose to abide by what I will say, by the year 2040, Nigeria will be among the most powerful nations in the world, not only in Africa. They say we are the giant of Africa. We are only sleeping giant. We are suffering like other African countries. We are suffering diseases like other African countries. We are suffering from poverty like other African countries. We are suffering from illiteracy like other African countries. We are suffering from corruption like other African countries. Then what makes us giant?
Okay, I have a question for you.
Okay, we are what we do, not what we say we are.
Thank you.
And we are what we represent to you, not what you perceive we are.
Allah go bless you.
And what I want you to understand, Jobless King here, what he was saying, he disliked the approach. You didn't even listen to us throughout the discussion. Our discussion was not, no, you see, our discussion was not initially on this issue. Our discussion was in the generality of Africa. What is the fate of Africa in a modern generation? If you carefully study what entirely Africa is engulfed into, each and every African nation is suffering from nearly the same problem. And our problem is an imperial system being imposed on us by imperial arrogant powers that will not allow Africa to strive and develop as a continent. And we say we need leaders who understand what Africa need. At this moment, what Africa need is leadership, not necessarily democracy, because we don't know democracy before the coming of these colonial masters. And if you look at what they are offering or practicing in their own country, it is not necessarily democracy, it is their national interest. So we as African should be in a system that we will relate to any country, whether that country is Europe or whatever that country is, but we can only relate to that country based on mutual respect, where we are benefiting from the relationship, they are also benefiting. But in a situation whereby now, despite the abundant crude oil we have here in Nigeria, now see how much we are buying in liter. Many people believe maybe it is because of this or that. The reason is that there is a policy of pushing away fossil fuel as a main source of energy, and because majority of the country that are the country hegemonic system today, they are falling apart. Now there is raising powers, so the world is moving into multipolarity.
When we talk about how far Nigeria has progressed, I think it would also be fair to talk about how far we could not progress because of the manner in which we came together. The North was the hegemonic group. It had a virtual veto over the two southern states. A veto in the sense that in terms of size, it was virtually 3 times bigger than the two southern regions. And therefore, it meant whoever was going to run Nigeria was going to be linking the north and one of the two southern regions. The NCNC and the Action Group, the two southern states, could not work together. The NCNC and the NPC, the Northern People's Congress, had reached an agreement by 1958 as to how they would come together. But they could not, properly speaking, form a government until they had discussed how to share Nigeria. And the decision they reached, I keep saying this, the decision they reached was to give virtually all the big jobs that will be vacated by colonialists to one of the political parties, because in their constituency, that is to say in the Eastern constituency, they had a lot of educated people who could fill the jobs. The North made the concession. But that was also why Zik, whose party really ought to have produced the prime minister because of the number of seats and votes they got, had conceded that the North would produce the prime minister and the leader, the NCNC, would produce a ceremonial president. That changed the chemistry of the Nigerian nation. But beyond that was this, that the regions that needed to be created were also well known from the very beginning. It was not only the 3 regions. All those who were campaigning for self-governorship in the north, in the east, and in the west were largely prevented from doing so. By the time the Civil War forced us to get to that point, we still refused to take the right decision. Why? Because by 1959-1960, the division of the Nigerian state began with all the military installations going to one region, all the railway extensions going to one region, the Kainji Dam going to one region, the iron and steel industry going to one region, because of that share out that I spoke of at the beginning. Because all the big jobs, the big railway men were from the east. The big directors were from the east. Even in the military, the officer corps was commanded by the east. It is usually described as a state. I mean, there was a country. Chidon Achebe talked very approvingly of the domination of the east at that time. But that is actually the point. Although they had all the big officers in these organizations, the ground on which all of them functioned lay where the veto holder was. And that veto holder managed to have enough soldiers to keep a propaganda of arms in place that made it impossible for any changes to take place. Even if you had a conference today, there is bound to be a veto holder input that will change it. How to change it has been the central issue of Nigeria. How do you restructure in the face of a veto holder who would always intervene to make sure that you don't get a change?
There are Southerners who have been exercising veto in the course of Nigerian history.
I will explain this.
It's not as if it's only in the north.
I will explain this. The average educated Nigerian, in order to be shown as a liberal, very freedom-loving, democratic person, is always trying to be nice to the north. There is no reason to be nice to the north. They are our brothers, and we have a right to fight over the issues that we need to change. It is no longer right to be nice to the north, because in this particular case, I give you a very good example now. You have a governor who Who tells you that all the non-Nigerian Fulanis must be catered for by the Nigerian state, and actually argues against the respect for international boundaries, argues against national policies on the grounds that one ethnic group, which just happened to be the ethnic group with which the British worked out an alliance, should permanently remain a freeholder, moving across all boundaries, respecting all laws and things of that nature. If you are talking about all Nigerians having a right, that is a claim to a divine right that you are not allowed to touch unless you belong to that ethnic fraction in Nigeria. If that ethnic fraction had the means to create a nation, they would have created one by now. The truth is that between the Fulani and the Hausa, there is a very badly structured sense of nationality. The way people talk about it, those who know, they will say a pulo is a pulo and a kado is a kado. It means that although they speak the same language, they have not managed to create a sense of nationality, and they have imposed that in every other part of Nigeria and in every Nigerian conference and situation. We just don't need, we don't have to be over liberal. Let us confront the issues. When you allow a small minority to control a majority, as I once said in this station, they can only rule by falsehood and violence. Well, and that I have just one thing to point out properly. Do you know that the Bagi of Nigeria, the Gwari, they are divided between 6 different states and have never been allowed to come together to form a state, whereas they are contiguous. But I'll tell you something. When you now have a governor, in fact 2 governors, Bauchi and Kebbi, when you now have 2 governors insisting that an ethnic group that does not even belong to Nigeria should be given special rights in Nigeria, and you find that those who are already in Nigeria, like the Gwari and many other ethnic groups, I will come to that, they are not even allowed to come together as an ethnic group. You will know that the source of the crisis is very strong. The agitation for state creation and for changing the boundaries of the various states began as early as 1904. The Ilorin people were already demanding to join their kit and kin in the western region. It never happened.
Things are presently. There is so much injustice in the system. It is known that the Opens of Kogi do not belong to North Central. It is known that this Zulu area of Kebbi State do not belong to the Northwest. It's known Southern Kaduna, of course, does not belong to Northwest either. Southern Yobe, Southern Bauchi, Southern Borno, Gombe. It's known, but they are just mixed together, where they will have no voice, where they will have no rights. Let's face the reality that these people belong to the Middle Belt. That's why they are.
Where there is homogeneity of traditional culture,
everything.
You know,
they just are spread into 5 states. There's no reason for it. It's a means of disenfranchising them so that they cannot.
They spread their population so thin.
They are so large, but there are minorities everywhere.
Exactly.
So we have to cure. Once we keep sitting over this injustice, we will never have peace, no matter what happens. So let's face reality.
So mention each of these. I can see. I mean, it's
so in the region now. First of all, nomenclature is very wrong. Nothing like South. Okay. So now we corrected the nomenclature. There is Northeast, there is Northwest, there is East Middle Belt, West Middle Belt. Okay. And whether we like it or not, East Middle Belt is essentially mainly Christian area. Benue, Plateau, Taraba, Adamawa, majority. In the western part, Niger, Middle Belt, Niger, Southern Kebbi, north of Kogi, is essentially also flavored Muslim. It's just a fact. We can't change the way we are. So then those ones belong to 2 regions in effect. The western region is known to be desirous of having its own region. The south, the same. The southeast, the same. Across the area, there's parts of Benue that we feel they are part of southeast. There are parts of maybe rivers, people feel they are southeast. The map is not set in granite. It's not set that cannot be changed. Absolutely. The map is for discussion. There'll be 1 year long program for people to decide where they want to belong on either divide. It's not that say I'm a military general that I've decreed. I just announced on NTA that this is what should be. No. But it's a thoughtful outcome of what we have done.
A result of deliberations.
But then people are free to move to one side or the other side. The freedom is there.
49 people elected, selected to write a constitution, wrote a constitution. 40 people in the Supreme Military Council promulgated the constitution for us. Under General Abubakar, government in which I sat, I was in executive council. I never saw the draft constitution. And I was Minister of Information. It was my responsibility to publicize it to the country. On the day of swearing in of Obasanjo, we didn't have a copy of the constitution. I didn't know who was printing it. And my ministry was supposed to pay for the printing. And Obasanjo was sworn on a constitution that had not been read by anybody. And the National Assembly could not be constituted until 4 days after his swearing in, because there was no clean copy of the constitution. You cannot build on quicksand. And the country cannot live on falsehood. The owners of the country, as represented by their leaders in the social cultural groups that formed a desire to be one country, have to be constituted into the kind of conference that President Jonathan summoned. They have the legal authority to speak on behalf of their various people that we want to be part of one country on the basis of the following rules. Unless we revisit that abnormality and historical abnormality, we will never have the ground norm. We will never have a constitution that conjures the loyalty of the.
This is the time, action time. The time, as I see, the momentum is very high now. That everybody are advocating for the same thing. Let us go. Let us divide. Let everybody go their own separate way. The conversation is very heavy outside. So it is possible before the next election, they will divide this country. Let everybody go their own way. Because this man, Fakonda, what is his name again, is really pushing forward. And they said it. Let's give Biafra their Biafra. Now they are supporting Biafra. And they are supporting Oduduwa, our Yoruba nation. Let them go. See how that first man explained. That's it. We have been explaining. That is it. Because those people who know who knows the terrain, let give them the chance for them to secure their land, to work, train their people, secure their people, protect your borders. Give the Yoruba nation, the Hausa, people who knows the terrain, who understands, speak your language, and do things together. You can't cross over to go and go another person's territory. You be your guy. You don't understand the language. You don't know anything about the terrain. They just post you from the north, a city where you are not been to before. Just because of the cost of your service, they just post you there. You don't know anything about the village, about the community. You don't speak the language. How are you going to secure the place? There must be a lot of things going on. You cannot. So it's not going to work like one Nigeria. Let everybody divide. Give these people. It's just like that one. Explain the first one. So he explained. Do you understand? This the way we are talking about now. Even if we want to have a one Nigeria, you need to even understand what you are doing, what the country really wants. And now, if the country wants to be together, this person ruling us now is out of it. For somebody who is going to bring peace and unity, going to unite us together. This man ruling us now, how can a dictatorship? He cannot. How can a dictator bring peace and unity to a country? He cannot. A dictatorship is always after himself, his family, and his relatives. And that is exactly what he's doing. What is his business with problem? What is his business with problem with by people in the other region? It does not affect him. If Tinubu is truly fighting for the soul of this country, trying to protect, bring peace and unity, secure everybody in this country, what stops Tinubu not to declare a state of emergency in Plateau State? What stops him not to declare in Enugu State? What stops him not to declare a state of emergency in Kogi State? What stops him? Because those people are not those states are not his concern. There's nothing. Those states are not special. Nothing. There's no gain for him there. Those governors are not rich. Now the River State governor. River State is a special state. If you listen to Obasanjo, that last day when Ali Baba explained, said Obasanjo told him that if you want to be the president of this country, he told him the 6 states, you need to target those 6 states. If those 6 states are in support, are in your cycle, as in they are in your team, then you now have CBN making seven governors in your team. Then you forget it, you win the election. River State is one of them. Then Kanu State, Kanu is numbers. The other one, which other states in the north? Those ones are numbers. Use those states to fill in the gap. Then use other states to make the money. Bring the governors to your cycle so that you have money to spend. Then you have the CBN governor where the money will be passed through. Obasanjo explain. River State is one of them. Delta State. Do you understand? So then you need to give these people what they want. Let peace reign. People are tired. The buy every day is too much. Now, if you look at for the last 2 months now, it's really be disturbing. If you look at the headlines of every newspaper is buy. Something that is even, in fact, is a problem. You cannot even go and read newspaper. You see the front page of every newspaper is something that is going to give you hypertension, something that is not encouraging. Those are the things you see in front of paper. People are not reading paper again before they start having heart attack. Because everything you listen to, even television now, they don't before. every 2 hours, 1 hour. Those people who have time, they tune it to TV. They quickly want to read news. They know what is happening. But now they already know. It's like a match now. Football match. Those people playing Najabe, they are predicting already. The problem is not happening in Kogi State tomorrow. It's happening it's happening in Plateau State. If not Plateau State, it's happening in Kogi or Benue State. If it's not Benue State, it's happening in Enugu State. They are already predicting where the problem will start. So nobody is interested in listening to anything that has to do with government again. It's problems. So this is action time. It's time to take action. I like it when these people are pushing hard. They are pushing hard. Let us, everybody go their separate way. Go and develop your region. Go and develop your region. Provided they give you the same allocation, you are entitled to those things. You need to develop your country. You develop your region. You have controls over your security to protect them. You know what to do with them. Then there will be border. You can not bring your problem from your state to come across border to go and bring me. No, now when border Iboma is on the border, you want to bring problem from your state to go and disturb them, harm their citizens. It's not going to possible. It's not going to allow you. It's not going to take bribe. And the same thing with the North. You cannot allow them to go. If you must allow them, proper documentations must be done. Details and everything. If anything happens, if anything should happen, they know where to go. They know where to find you. They know who is responsible for that thing. It will be very easy to fish out those people. But now, we don't have data. Nothing is working. Everything is 0, 0, 0, 0. All we hear, bye, every day. Let us go. I don't know whether this country now, even the president, and if this momentum is very high, he will be forced to do this before 2027. I don't know whether in a Pharaoh who refuses to let his people go. Anyways, appreciate this video. And please subscribe to this YouTube channel. I'll be your guide on and for me so that you get to see updates like this next time.